What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and it's time for another old school versus new school. So in today's old school versus new school, I have my Natasha Denona Love palette alongside the Surrender palette from an Unearthly Cosmetics mystery box. So as soon as I saw this palette and opened it up, I was like, it looks just like my Midi Love palette from Natasha Denona. So I was like, yes, we need to do a battle immediately. Yes. So here's what they look like side by side. So I decided we need to do an old school versus new school. I told y'all I'm trying to slowly but surely get rid of the battles and just have the old school versus new school kind of be like my thing. I'll still do battles from time to time, but I want it to be like mainly battles when I do compare things. I want it to mainly be old school versus new school to kind of give y'all like a switch up and a little change. I'm thinking of getting rid of my side chick makeup too, just because lately my heart hasn't really been in that either. So we just gonna kind of stick to these old school versus new school for now until I come up with, you know, something different again. But back to these. So as you can see, the color stories look quite similar in my personal opinion. I feel like they had a lot of similar tones in them, so I felt like it was close enough to where we could do a cute little battle. So as usual, y'all know I'm gonna start off with the old school one, which will be my Midi palette. Now y'all know this is my favorite Natasha Denona Midi palette out of all the Midi palettes I have from the brand. So I was super excited to see someone else come out with a similar color story too, because if y'all remember, I think this one got discontinued like last year. I want to say that discontinued in 2022 finally. I know it's not on Sephora anymore. I think it's still on her website though, but I think you can only buy in a bundle. Like, I don't think you can just buy this palette. You have to buy a bundle of 2 different palettes in order to get it, from what I remember. So I'm so happy that somebody came with an alternative. The funny thing is, when this first came out, I really didn't like it. I wasn't feeling the cream to powder formula on it, but now that I have a better handle on how to use her cream to powder formula, I like it a whole lot better. But it's just, to me, it's just a stunningly gorgeous palette. Like, to me, this is definitely a Valentine's palette. You got your nice little purple tones over here for girls who like that sort of vibe. You got your cute little classic pinks and reds to go to, and then you sprinkled a couple of neutrals in here for you to make everyday use of, or just use this as like a soft everyday eyeshadow palette. And then you want to vamp it up at night, you can use the purples to make your like more smoky toned eye look. So I really like this palette. This is still my favorite Midi palette out of all the ones she's come out with. She hasn't come out with one to top it for me to say I like it better than the other ones, but she hasn't really come out with any more that were too colorful in my personal opinion. If the Circle Local had been a Midi, then it'd probably been my new favorite Midi palette, but that was a big size, so there you go. Next we have the Surrender palette. So I actually just did the video on this yesterday, and I must say I was very impressed with the formula in here. I like the fact that she came out with some different packaging and a different style when it came to this eyeshadow palette. I like that she switches up stuff and does different stuff. But like I said, I do really love the color story of this. She gave you a nice little neutral quad. She gave you a cool red and purple quad, and then gave you a nice little soft quad. So I look at this as like anti-Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day, and then Galentine's Day. So like you can use each quad in this full size palette to get each different looks. Now y'all know me, I jumped all over it. I wasn't just gonna stay in like the little quads individually, but you know, to each his own. But you can look at it as a quads if it makes you feel better and gives you a better idea of how to use this palette, because I know some people look at it and might be like, what's going on? Just look at it as quads. See, now you see there's the smoky quad, there's the girly pink quad, and then there's my favorite quad, this one in the middle. But I really enjoyed the quality of it, and let's get into this video as far as the eyes go. So I'm gonna go off camera, get my life in order, and then we're gonna come back and use the Surrender palette on camera. Y'all know I'm gonna use the Love palette off camera just because you can't get it anymore, and I'd rather show you the one that you can get on camera than the one you can't. So be right back. Okay, y'all, so this is the Natasha eye. I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be surprised. I feel like you're probably surprised I didn't use purple, but I was like, I just, you know, I feel like I always use the purple when I use this palette, so I was like, I'll just stick to the more romantic tones in it, and we'll stick to the romantic tones in this one. So we're gonna use this shade as our inner corner shade, and basically these 3 shades right here. And then I use these 2 to dust into the crease, just like I used 2 from the Natasha's palette. So what I did was I combined these 2 shades right here in the crease, so that's what we're gonna use in here. This is what's on the lid. This is what's in the crease, and this is what's on the outer V. So, oh, and of course y'all know this is the inner corner shade. I tried to stay away from the purple because, like I said, I always use the purple when I reach for that palette. So I was like, let's do something different. So we're gonna start off with the 2 shades I mixed. Only thing I don't like necessarily is that the one in the Unearthly one that we're using now is a sequin shade. So I'm not, if y'all realize by now, I'm not a fan of sequin shades. So the fact that it's a sequin shade, I don't like. But that's the only complaint I have about the shade. Like, the color is nice. I'm giving a nice romantic pinky vibe. It's just, why the heck do we see it? Y'all, I'm not getting on the sequin train bandwagon. So whatever's in my palette, I'm complaining. I just say I'm telling you now. I don't like them. But I'm just blending these cute little shades together to have like a brighter kind of airbrush effect to the rest of the eyeshadows we're putting down. Well, I'm gonna go back over it afterwards. I feel like lately I've been making my wings kind of thick, and I've been doing it by accident, honestly. So I didn't purposely make that one that thick. It ended up turning out that thick after I started blending it out. So I'm like, I'm done, you know, purposely doing it. It just kind of ends up happening in a way, and I'm like, okay. I'm doing all the like more neutrally looks today just because it's like I have to take Adriangameover to register for school, and mommy don't want me walking in there with the type of eye looks I normally do and him being embarrassed by it. So like, I guess I'll go ahead and just do all the neutral eye looks I need to do today to make sure Kitchen isn't embarrassed or Adriangameover isn't embarrassed by, you know, the eye looks I am doing. So I'm like, there we go. Now we're gonna go into the deeper, what is it? I guess burgundy-ish plum shade. There we go. Blending that out. I expected it to look a little bit deeper. I feel like it's looking more fuchsia berry than it's looking burgundy like I thought it was going to. But, you know, it works for what we're doing, I guess. And like I told y'all before, I feel like this was a good alternative to the Love palette, and that's why I said alternative. It's like, we see some of the shades in here are brighter. We see the stuff isn't going to be exact already, because like I feel like the red in this palette and all the other colors in this palette are going to be more vibrant than the ones in the Natasha one. I feel like hers is like a little more subtle when it comes to the colors. So I'm kind of glad she did this color story, because it's like you got quads of each type of, I guess, colorful look you could do. This is like a Valentine, Galentine, anti-Valentine's Day palette all in one. If y'all notice, I've been doing a series like that on my YouTube shorts this year, along with on TikTok and on my IG reels. I haven't posted as many on my IG reels as I should have. I be, you know, forgetting about IG reels a lot of times, because, you know, I'm used to Instagram being for pictures, and I miss when it was for pictures. We're going to take the red shade now, just put that in the crease. But see, this red is much brighter than the other side. But it could have just been like the Natasha Denona side oxidized, but because I feel like when I initially put it on, it was this bright, and it just oxidized down to what color it is now. So I'm hoping this side does the same, so at least it can look somewhat similar. But at the same time, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't, because I prefer to have like this true bright red that y'all see me putting on. So we'll see. Again, I have tried a few palettes since I tried this one, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping my Adept palette shows up today, y'all, because I really want to play with it. I know I'm going to play with the, what do you call it, the Pat McGrath ones today. That's the last video I plan on shooting before I, like, take Adriangameover to school to register. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, see, I'm loving the vibrancy of that. Take the brush that we use the pink and stuff over just to airbrush around these shades, and then at the bottom. I take the brush that we use to dust over everything and go in there as well. So here's that. And back, it's not. Now we're gonna take some glitter glue. I know this better be a random question, y'all, but what happened to Mike Jones? Like, where did he go? I'm just curious. I'm gonna take this intoxicating shade now and put it on. I'm just curious what happened to him. I know it's really random. Him and like some other artists, I'd be like, what happened to them? Like, what was the guy's name? Sean Kingston with the Beautiful Girl song. I'm like, what happened to him? I'd be like, where did these artists just dip away to? Because I thought he was supposed to have like his own production company and had a whole deal going with some other people, whatever, and then he never, and then he just disappeared. But I'm like, I don't know why. I didn't really listen to him that much and wasn't a huge fan, so it's not that one I care about. I'm more curious just about, you know, when the world Mike Jones went, oh, this is going a little patchy. Let's see if I can pat it on and make it look better, because right now it's looking patchy in certain areas. After I tried to swipe it on the way I know. Do my shimmers. You know, when you have that scaly effect on your lids, it's giving that. So I don't know if I needed to spray the brush and then put it on, and that would have made it better, but it just looks like it's kind of crepey and scaly on my lid. And then like it's patchy right here, it won't stay like with my fingers when I'm patting, like it won't stay in that area. I don't know what's going on with that. I've never had this happen with their shimmers before, so I'm just kind of like, what's happening? So I'm going to try to spray the brush and see how I feel. As far as putting it on now, hopefully it'll stick in that spot now, okay, yeah, it's fixing the problem, so this just needs to be sprayed when I put it on. As opposed to just trying to put it on glitter glue. Yeah, no, okay. So let's go ahead and put some more of the burgundy shade or the more various plum shade on the outer lid. Tap with the shimmer situation here. Okay, so let's get my clean brush again, and then we're going to go into the inner corner shade, which is our final shade, and then we will talk about my thoughts on which palette I prefer and why when it comes to this old school new school. Okay, so this inner corner shade is more of an icy topper shade, where Natasha's is more of a metallic. So this is a topper, and that's a metallic. And so we are done. So as you can see, this is more of a, like that wet ethereal looking type shade, whereas Natasha is more like bam, pow, metallic in your face, and Natasha's is more on the, I feel like, subtle, deeper, smokier red tone side, which I feel like this one's more plumish berries, and then you get the bright red in the inner corner. So let's back on up and talk about my thoughts and which one I prefer in this battle. So as usual, I like each palette for different reasons. Like I like how the tones in this one are brighter. I like the fact that it has little quad sections going on where you can get 3 separate looks, like I told you all in the video. You got the nice smoky section for people who want everyday makeup. You got the fun berry tone section for your Valentine's moment. And then you got this nice soft pink section I guess you can use for everyday or Galentine look. That's why I say anti-Valentine, Valentine, and Galentine when it comes to this one. So I like that whole concept. I wasn't feeling that the shimmer didn't want to go on and made my lid look crepey, but once I wet the brush with the shimmer on it and placed it to the lid, it was fine. So I like the brightness of this one, but I'm liking the more sultry version of Natasha. Plus, we all know that since this is my favorite one, the formulas I'm very familiar with, it was much easier for me to blend. I felt like I had to build up the Unearthly one a lot, and then the whole shimmer situation was kind of like a little bit of a letdown. Plus, I like the fact that these are more of those metallic, opaque type shades. I told y'all I'm not really one who's big into those ethereal. It's like, you know, wet looking. I mean, I feel like there's a time and place for them, but a lot of time the time and place for them for me is just to pop it on top of a, you know, a already metallic shade, just to give it some extra oomph and glittery effect. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Love palette from Natasha Denona, of course. But y'all know, I feel like y'all knew that's the one I was gonna pick, but you know, it's just the one I prefer at the end of the day. So there you go. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are dimes. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.